Hello, love. Welcome to your confirmation messages for the highest and greatest good of the ELSH collective, Empaths, Lightworkers, Starseeds, Healers, Awakened, and Awakening Souls. Know that if this message has found you, and or if you have found it, it is both, that there is something here for you. That is always the intention that I put into these timely yet timeless messages. We have the energy of the whale and orca elders coming through. I'm also hearing the whale and orca elders of Mintakan connected to Mintakan and the Mintakan Starseeds, if that resonates with you. A lot of elemental water energy that we are working with, and light energy as well. And the energy of sound. So one of the things that's interesting, I'm getting a lot of source connection with this as well, because of the fact that this is all connected to these frequencies that are very close to source frequency. Okay? The Mintakans have and are referred to as being the original Lightworkers or light warriors. And where they are directing me here, it's interesting because they're coming in as sort of one collective consciousness kind of energy. What they are directing me towards here is especially the energy of empaths, the energy of empathy, and empath consciousness, and the evolution of that empath consciousness here on Mama Gaia, and the awakening of empath consciousness here on Mother Earth, okay? This is something that we have spoken to before, and this is a huge part of what's going on right now in the collective here on Mother Earth. And what's really interesting right now, just a little side note here, is I'm being directed to have you focus on the light that is coming through this particular video. The light that you are picking up on coming through this particular video, because at some point I thought it was too bright and I was just about ready to get the remote to kind of lower it, and they're saying to me, no, don't do that. So it's directly connected to shining your light. This is a message that is about shining your light bright. What does that mean? This is a phrase that we often hear about not dimming your light, letting your light shine, being a beacon of light, illuminating, okay? Your own light is what I'm hearing. What this really means is stepping into your truth and your authenticity. Because if we speak to light being consciousness is directly correlated with truth and also the frequency of love, which is one of the highest frequencies. Enlightenment also being connected to that, but it's a gateway frequency. Love is a gateway frequency, is what they're showing me, to enlightenment. And this, specifically for the empath collective and the empath journey here on Mama Gaia, this is about love of self. This is about self-love. So this is essentially what they are coming in to address, because there have been more recently, and this will find you, this message, this video will find you whenever it is meant to find you, timely yet timeless as always. But know that when this video finds you, and also in the more timely sense, I'm hearing disdain of being different. There's something very palpable in that energy right now. And specifically, I am seeing The energy of the pink dolphins come through here. This is connected to the energy of, it's interesting, I'm getting a lot of Andromedan energy with that. I'm also getting a lot of Mintakan, Syrian energy with that as well. These star families are essentially coming in as confirmations for you, okay? If you resonate with those energies, if you are working with them collectively, if you resonate with being a starseed of that origin or previous incarnation as we understand it here on Earth, okay? I am working with the crystal energies here of this beautiful whale and orca agate, okay? One of the things I love about this one is it looks like there's a little fin and tail on that. This is really coming through for this reading in terms of the sound energies and frequencies that I'm hearing consuming and also reverberating. Very connected to the energies of the throat chakra, of how we are expressing ourselves. And I'm seeing a lot of that color energy coming through here. I don't know if that's coming sort of through the screen, but it's almost like a silvery blue kind of gray. So these are also very galactic energies connected to sound. And I'm also working with appetite as well. This piece of appetite, the energy of the blue beings, this particular crystal for me really connects me to the whale and orca elders and the energies of Cetus. So if you connect with those energies as well, the great whale, okay, sometimes referred to as the sea monster, but that's a whole other thing. Bringing these energies into this particular reading for you as a way for you multidimensionally to connect to this reading. And this is really coming through like a heart right now. Okay, so they're directing me to start by asking through the Prism Oracle here as to the themes that we're essentially going to tackle in this particular soul support confirmation message, okay? The themes that we are going to tackle, and I'm getting a lot of kind of corally pink energy coming through. This particular deck obviously works with the color rays, and one of the things that I'm really seeing, this was at the bottom of the deck actually, ideation. And funny enough, even though it's kind of like an orangey sort of color, it's sort of falling into this corally energy for me. Ideations, I'm hearing ideas of the heart. Surrender also coming out there as I split the deck. That ideation is still at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so I'm hearing ideas of love. Remember that this is a collective reading, so it feels like there's going to be a lot coming through here, so take whatever resonates. Consciousness came out, but funny enough, I flipped. I don't read this deck in reverse, but there's a reason for it coming out like that. I'm hearing the energies here of descending to ascend. This very much resonates with the teachings of Mary Magdalene, with a lot of Venusian energies, Sisterhood of the Rose energies, the Essenes is also a thing I'm getting that, and the Gnostic umbrella, what's referred to as the Gnostic Gospels, the teachings of those, the lost energies. Frequencies is what they're directing me to correct here, because they're not exactly lost. It's more like they've gone dormant, the frequencies here on Earth. Okay, so a lot of us who resonate with being empaths, a lot of you who have been drawn to this reading will have a connection to the ancient teachings, or a curiosity around the ancient teachings of Christianity, and by way of that, Venus and the planet Venus and Venusian beings. I'm also hearing Lady Nada. There's an energy there. Lady Venus also coming through, a lot of rose energy. Okay, now how this particular card is coming through is with regard to our understanding of consciousness around the body. This is something that has come through before, and I will link that particular reading here on the screen now and in the description box below, where the Sisterhood of the Rose had come through, the Venusians come through to talk about your body not being the enemy. What I'm hearing is we have a lot of residual trauma or energy stored in the body, and it is your task, your duty to yourself, as an act of love to yourself, to reclaim your body, and especially to reclaim your emotional body. This descent energy is about doing the unearthing, the shadow work, the digging deep into the body, going within. I'm hearing when you are ready to do so, obviously doing this within a safe space with the right support around you and of your own free will. Okay. This is a priority for some of us right now in order to essentially, and I don't mean this in a, like, take it however it resonates, right? To get to the next level, so to speak. But it's not really a level. This is about expansion, because as you can see here, the rings, I mean, this is the consciousness card. So we're talking about expansion here, because if you resonate with being part of the ELSH collective, if you resonate with being an awakened or awakening soul, if you resonate with having a mission here on earth, if you resonate with supporting humanity and being here for the highest and greatest good of humanity, you are expanding consciousness. That's what you're doing. And even though it may not seem that way to you right now, because of the shadow work that you are doing, or the darker spaces, so to speak, that you feel you are in. And when I say darker spaces here, I don't mean, I'm not judging that with a sense of bad or evil. What I'm saying when I say that is not exactly knowing, being in the dark, not exactly seeing clearly yet what the purpose of this is. Okay? We also have to remember too, especially if you resonate with being a Mintakan starseed, and really just a starseed in general, okay, is that we have trouble many times, especially when we're deeply empathic, with understanding maliciousness is the word they're giving me. And so it is incredibly important that we learn as light warriors, we remember is what they're saying to me. We remember the importance of having our shields up, so to speak, of having the filters on, of having the healthy boundaries in place, and really being sensitive to that at the moment, okay? I'm just going to place this, they're directing me to put this consciousness card here, leaving it in reverse with the selenite that I've got sitting there on my space deck. What's interesting is stop is right at the bottom of the deck. So this is an energy of really pausing to address this. And this is red. This is root chakra energy. This is the energy of also the blood of ancestry, okay? Of doing also the ancestral work around this. When it comes to what we hold in the body, okay? Any of the traumas, a lot of this is going to be ancestral. Again, for the Sisterhood of the Rose to be coming in, and I'm even getting a lot of images coming through from the Rose Oracle deck. There's a card in that deck that has to deal with the mother line, and I don't remember the name of the card, but that's what's coming through. And in the past, the Sisterhood of the Rose and these ancient Christian teachings have come through to really address this and to address the importance of tuning into our bodies and becoming grounded in our bodies, to descend, to go within ourselves to that place of stillness within. They're directing me to a conch shell that I have sitting across the room now. And I'm seeing that as a vortex going in within the heart. But even deeper, I'm also getting a lot of womb energy with that. That is the core of our being. And the generative, for the womb to be coming through as an image there, or as a symbol that they're giving me, they're talking about, again, it being connected to the mother line, to ancestry. This could also be something connected to birth. I'm also hearing on call, right? And if I remember correctly, that's about being born with still the placenta around you. There's all of this energy of, but I'm also getting here some kind of trauma around birth. Okay. Okay. So, and this also being connected to feeling at odds with being here on Earth. And this is not something to be continually at odds with. So there's an alchemy here, okay? And it's almost like we need, funny enough, they're saying to me, it's like, this needs to stop. This consciousness, this belief. Wow, okay. And this is a belief that they're showing me, again, is perpetuated throughout spiritual communities, and especially with people who really resonate with being starseeds and who get on this sort of, who are not grounded in that, who feel really, who almost, this is how it's coming through. It's coming through as a form of indoctrination. It's coming through as a form of indoctrination around our bodies. Okay, and there's also religious indoctrination and programming coming through for that as well. Consciousnesses, beliefs, ideas, and where they resonate, and the wavelength of consciousness. And that's bringing in that water energy, the need to purify and cleanse these forms of consciousness because they are obstructing the trajectory of being in alignment with our highest and greatest good. Okay, and they want me to stop there. I'm going to go straight to, they want me to stop there. I'm going to go straight to, what are we doing first? Okay, we're going to pop some tarot here now. Okay, so where does this disdain for the body, where does it come from? Interesting. And now I'm getting Mana Ekati coming through for this as well. Hecate. Okay. Wanting to shed some light on this, because for her to be coming through, she has been coming through quite a lot lately. For me, and on behalf of the ELSH Collective, awakened and awakening souls, conscious beings, okay, who really are here to transform. Okay, she's bringing in a lot of Plutonian energy with that as well. I'm getting the energy here of Pluto in the transformative sense, okay? 8th house energy, if that resonates with you. Scorpio energy, transformative energy, and through that I'm also getting the imagery of the scorpion, the snake, to the scorpion, to the eagle, to the phoenix, that sort of energy of transformation. Specifically, actually, it's Scorpio. It's the scorpion energy to the eagle, to the phoenix, and the energy of the snake in Kundalini, and also transformation in shedding our skin around this. And what's really interesting is that the snake, going back to the stop energy and the root, the snake's constantly in contact with the earth. The snake's belly is always somehow in contact with Mama Gaia, okay? I'm also hearing Pythia with that, the oracle of Delphi, the energy, the Pythians, that kind of the Pythian oracle, okay? These are divine feminine energies in the serpent, represented by her. Essentially, being at odds with our body is a reflection of how we are at odds with the divine feminine. And a lot of this goes, I'm hearing it down to a cellular level in terms of indoctrination and programming through the ancestral line here on Earth. And especially if you come from a family or some kind of background where there has been a lot of religious structure and programming and indoctrination in that sense, okay? And I don't mean to kind of cast a very broad brushstroke with that, because I do understand very clearly that there are people who come from, different lineages in terms of religion who are not necessarily completely in line with this, right? But we have to also address that this is very much connected to some of the ways that we have been controlled, that our consciousness has been controlled, okay? I don't know why. Okay, so I'm being directed to also mention a book here called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is the man who also wrote Think and Grow Rich, but this story, the story behind Outwitting the Devil, is fascinating because essentially I feel he channeled this particular book for the highest and greatest good of humanity at that time, and was actually deterred, so the story goes, by loved ones. I believe his wife, again, I don't know how true this is, right? But, this is the story, to publish it when he channeled it. And I think it was done in the late 30s. And 1930s when I say that. And basically what's fascinating about that is it was so ahead of its time. Had he published it, who knows where the timeline of his teachings and his books would have gone. But it's really, really interesting because in that particular book, he talks about, and I don't know if he uses this particular, these words exactly, but he talks about a council, a mastermind essentially that he works with energetically, of people that he respects, and how at some point he was guided to do this, to literally interview the devil. And that's why it's called Outwitting the Devil. So in that book, and it is an absolutely fascinating book, which I also understand if people read it from a very religious perspective, they'd be completely at odds with. But in that particular book, he talks about religious institutions, for example, being the work of the devil. Now, that does not mean that everybody who practices, for example, a religion is doing anything of the sort in terms of this connection. But what he's using as an analogy here are the modicums of control. That's interesting because that's a phrase that's come through before. The way that institutions specifically will take certain philosophies or teachings and bend them to control people through fear. And this goes so deep. How do we even, we're going off a little bit on a tangent here, but obviously it's here for a reason. And for those of you who are connecting to this energy. So that's the reason why there is so much indoctrination around the negative aspects of the body because it's connected to concepts of original sin. These have also come through before in other readings. So these concepts of original sin are created concepts through which control and fear take over. Also, the fact that this vessel that we incarnate into at some point will die, right? Physically, it will return to dust, right? As one of the many ways that we refer to that. And they're guiding me to use that phrase here, okay? And what they're showing me now is I'm seeing a very, very bright star at the tip of a mountain. And that is, again, this returning to an energy, the fact that energy never dies, right? So the body may die, the body may end physically, and yet that doesn't make it any less important in this physical lifetime for you to connect with. Isn't that fascinating? So the fact that somewhere along the lines, we confuse the importance of the body with the fact that it dies, and because it dies, and there's so much more here too, okay. Because it dies, what will happen is we immediately think, well, it's going to end anyway, so there's no point. There's almost this very nihilistic way of looking at it. And this sort of like stream of consciousness that runs underneath it all. When in fact, it is the vessel, it is the thing that holds the energy that allows you to move through this world. And even that in itself is affected by the energy and is evolving. The body itself is evolving here on Earth. I don't want to get off. This is like a whole other topic, a tangent for discussion, but I feel that for it to be coming through, it means that there's something in there for someone to hear in order to see it differently. Okay? And I'm hearing the word biohacking, so maybe some of you are into that, this sort of a concept of biohacking and understanding in a way the quote-unquote immortality of the body. Because, and this starts getting into really galactic, cosmic sort of forms of consciousness where we start to even see the body as something being immortal, and anything that ever existed being immortal in any way when you can tap into it through the Akashic field and through the quantum field. And I'm going to end it there because it's just going to get way off on a tangent. So essentially, look at that. 8 of Swords in reverse. This is about changing the concepts of consciousness that we have been programmed and indoctrinated with about the body. And it starts again with the mind. So how are we seeing this? How are we perceiving the body? Okay, Page of Wands in reverse. Some of us feeling, I'm hearing, locked into the body. Where are we able to transmute that and understand as well that as a starseed, if this is something that is really resonating with you, then part of what you're here to do is to alchemize this energy. So if you are a starseed that feels like this body, this physical experience sucks, it's shit, that is what you're here to alchemize. And simply put, you start by loving the fuck out of your body. The 3 of Wands here. Yeah. So this 3 of Wands is coming through as big time portal energy. What is this? The moon in reverse wants to come out as well here in reverse. Yeah. This is about unveiling where in your mind and in your spirit You might hold these unconscious beliefs around, oh, this is a strong word, okay, the hate that you have for your body, the hate that you have, by extension of that, of your physical experience here on Earth. Okay. The Three of Wands, this energy is an energy of ships coming into port. This is a vision card. And 3 is the number of creation and envisioning your creation. So, really simply put, how do you want to feel in your body? How do you want your body to support you? And how can you support your body? There's an energy here of relationship really wanting to come through in the creation of harmony. And this happens through your frequency, your energy, your spirit. So what's one way, really simply, what is one way that you are able to just start to begin to love something about your body? Really simply, what's one part of your body that you actually love? And if you can't find anything and you're completely at odds with this, you can simply start by giving your body gratitude for the fact that it's able to breathe here on Earth. Think of it like your own gorgeous spacesuit is the analogy that they're giving me, where it's like cutting edge, you know, in terms of, look, it breathes. You are able to watch this video through your eyes. You're able to hear what I'm saying with your ears, if you can, right? If you're watching this and you're watching the captions, then you're actually reading it, you know. Also, how you experience, this is another thing they're giving to me, the whale and orc elders really coming through for this, how you can experience really beautiful emotions through your body. Feelings of joy, excitement, happiness, okay? These are really beautiful things that, funny enough, what they're actually showing me, there's a lot of energies galactically that really venerate that, where it's like, wow, you're able to do that. What a beautiful thing that you're able to do. They're also giving me the energy of touch, like beautiful feelings and sensations. So like they're giving me swimming. Specifically, I'm getting like totally naked skinny dipping stuff, you know, like feeling the water against your body. Okay. Feeling warmth, feeling cozy, feeling like a really cozy sweater. Really, really, really simple things. Coming back to basics and really meditating on those things. Sorry, I just bumped the mic. Okay. And we're going to be asking now through the tarot for what else they might want to bring through for this. Okay. In terms of ways that we can really start to love on our bodies. They're directing me to this card here. Knight of Pentacles. This is a methodical, this does not need to be an overnight process. They're actually, I'm hearing the word languid. We should be doing this languidly, slowly, meaning really pausing. This goes with a stop here. Really pausing to observe our breathing. To observe the body. They're showing me the heart now. So they're showing me, look at that, 2 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. We've got a couple more cards here that I'm going to get to in a second. So this is the energy of directing your spirit into the physical. What's really, really cool here is how this is coming through is Mama Gaia, the element of earth, the physical body, and us directing our energy towards that physical body and that acting like a portal. And they're also directing me to how this is how the shadow work can start. Because what we do when we do this is when we have sort of a feeling come up in us that's uncomfortable or uneasy, or we're at odds with it, or there's resistance, simply observe that and observe where it's coming up for you in your body, because that is a clue as to what you need to focus on next. And when we have that come up in our bodies, we immediately bear witness to it, and in bearing witness to it, we show it compassion and love. That's what we do. It's incredibly important that we begin to do this at a very basic level, because it feels right now that there are a number of us in the collective who have lost sight of this. For this card of vision and sight, 2 of them coming out, because we had the 3 of Wands earlier, we've lost sight of this. And this is about coming back to basics. Again, don't rush. For the Chariot, look at that. Look at that. The 3 of Wands coming out again. Yeah, this is confirmation of us losing sight of it. But it's also confirmation of this, of descending within, of going within. There's a lot of internal work here that needs to be done before we can get to the outer. The inner landscape needs to be ready. The inner landscape needs tending to, is what I'm hearing. I'm getting the analogy of tending to your garden. Okay. Number 7 is the energy of going deeper, of balancing the intuition with the intellect. Balancing the intuition with the intellect. This is also resonating with the 7 teachings of Mary Magdalene, if that's something that's popping for you, and that connected to this concept of the 7 deadly sins. Isn't that interesting how we talked earlier about original sin, this disdain for the body somehow being corrupt, and those things being connected to the 7 deadly sins. When in fact, on the flip side of that, they, in the, call it positive orientation, that's one way that people refer to it, but I like to see it as functional or conscious, okay? On the flip side of that, when we look at it from a more conscious point of view, when we come from it from a place of understanding and love, these 7 principles, let's just put it that way, or there's 7 portals for a deeper understanding of the body and our connection to the divine through the body. I feel like I should leave it at that. That's what they're showing me right now, because we're going to get to this again. I did want to pop one final card. Yeah, they are directing me to that. I'm going to pop through the Healing Waters Oracle here, because we've got a lot of beautiful water energy coming through here with the Whale and Orca Elders, of course, the Mintakan energy, okay, Syrian energy. By way of that, Lemuria, all of this connected. Take whatever resonates for you, of course, okay, for that. And they're just wanting me to tap on this deck. I'm hearing this is a call to all again. I'm hearing that Foo Fighter songs. I'm hearing like, this is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call, okay. Some of you they're showing me, okay, sweet waters, sensuality, romance, enjoyment, fertility, balance. Really, really focusing on sensuality with that, okay? And enjoying being in your body. Enjoying making the intention. This is how we start. Making the intention moving forward. And you can start by what you don't want. I don't want to be at odds with my body anymore. It's okay to do that. And then moving it into, I'm at one with my body. My body is my best friend. I take care of my body. I love my body. Even if that concept feels right now incredibly foreign to you. Because doing the work and the alchemy work around this is one of the reasons why you came here, especially if you resonate with being a starseed who is really at odds here with their body. Okay. One final message on behalf of the whale and orca elders. They want to come through for this. One final message of soul support with regard to this topic. They want to give us two, and one flipped over there. Okay. She who flows, ease, being open to change, go with the flow of life. Being open to this is where this starts. Being open also to the signs and the synchronicities around how to take care of your body. Making this top of mind is what I'm hearing. They're directing me back to that Eight of Swords that came out as well. Oh, the Selkie coming out of hiding. Embrace who you really are. So what's really interesting with this Selkie energy, okay, this is a metamorphosis energy, right? This is a transformational energy, the Selkie beings, right? That can, almost like the way a mermaid can transform into a human and then back again, the ability to do that, right? These shape-shifting kind of energies. And for some of us, seeing your body that way is how you are able to actually alchemize this energy. Understanding that your body, I feel like I need to read from the book. Oh, for that. On call, this is what had come through before. So this is just another big confirmation for that. Healer, seer, priestess, priest, priestess, soul purpose. Again, this is your purpose. This is what you came here to do. This is part of the mission work. Is to integrate the body, to understand that the body is divine and it is part of your mission, and that you can access the divine through the body. And it starts with observing the discomfort, loving on that discomfort, asking that discomfort what it has to teach you, how you can integrate it, what do you need to do as well, because part of it is also the body giving you the signs, the things that you need to focus on, right? Where in your body, in what area of your body is this pain, this uncomfort, this discomfort, right? Where you're feeling uncomfortable, where is it coming up? Because there's codes in that. I'm hearing frequency to be addressed in that. There's something there. It's holding some kind of wisdom for you. And we've got cleansing. Yep, right at the bottom of the deck. Releasing the old, energetic tune-up, new beginnings. Yeah, this water energy, working with the element of water, the water elementals, the energy of water, period, okay, right now can be incredibly helpful. I'm really getting a lot of salt water with that. Also working with the energy of salt and salt water, 43 on the counter as I say that, 7 and 7 again. Yeah, the energy of going deeper, 77. There's hidden knowledge here to be discovered within the body. Okay, let's go to Selkie for just a moment here, because the Selkies are really coming through for this particular one. The soul inquiry. How can you embrace who you truly are? How can you embrace your body is what they're giving me. Interesting. So the whole story, I'm not going to get into this. They're directing me, though, to the fact that it's really interesting how, again, a lot of this is about hiding parts of ourselves. And what I'm getting with that is what's hidden, again, in the body. What is hidden in the body? Because they're also showing me the other end of this, 44 on the counter as this is coming through. The other end of this is how the physical body can be absolutely transformed by the energy that you are giving it, by the energy that you are channeling through the physical body. And really simply, they're showing me someone who just beams, like they glow, you know? And it's akin to the amount of life force energy that they are allowing freely to flow, she who flows, through their body. So wherever this discomfort is coming up in your body, it's a signal. It's a signal for you to tend to something there in the body, to give it love and attention, because it needs attention right now. I'm going to read on call because that had come through earlier as well, and that is where I'm going to end off this message. I feel like there's something in there too, going straight to the soul inquiry for this. How can you answer the call of your soul in the fullest expression today? I'm also hearing the call of the body. How can you honor the call of the body in its fullest expression today? Okay. The folklore of many different places, including Iceland, France, Holland, Albania, England, and Germany, has tales about a rare event called an on-call or veiled birth. This occurs when the mother goes into labor, but her waters fail to break, and the baby appears in this world still inside the amniotic sac in which it gestated. According to tradition, children born on call have second sight and gifts of healing. In Scotland, they were seen as good omens, and fishermen sought out birth call, the amniotic sac, as an amulet to protect them from drowning. In ancient Egypt, they were believed to be the future priests, priestesses, and priestesses of the community. I'm getting so much alchemy and the energy of alchemy coming through with that, okay? This is the card of the healer, the seer, the wisdom keeper, and the mystic. Perhaps you're already on this path. Perhaps it's something new for you. The healer, the shaman, the medicine person knows that it's through facing their own shadow and taking their own deep healing journey that they can return to guide others in their healing. Yeah, this is exactly the message with regard to the body and this integration, because it directly involves facing our own shadows around this, facing our own shadow around disdain for the body. The healer is, like all of us, in their own spiral of transformation and healing. Healed isn't a stagnant state. The healer knows they're not meant to be perfect and whole all the time. Instead, it's because they've journeyed to the deepest, darkest, uncharted oceanic caves and returned with an open heart and mind that they're able to hold space for another. This card is an acknowledgement of your role in the world and the deep work you've been doing on your own healing journey. Huge acknowledgement here for your role in this world. There's a reason why you incarnated here. And a big part of that is alchemizing this energy and the deep work that you've been doing on your own healing journey. And I thank you for that. I thank you for being here. I'm going to close out this reading with much love and gratitude to the whale and orca elders, through source, through spirit, the Mintakan consciousness, those energies coming through, the Syrian energies as well, the water elementals, the aquatic beings, the dolphins, all coming through for this beautiful message. I thank you for being here and for doing the work. Empath, Lightworker, Starseed Healer, awakened and awakening souls, I'm sending you so much love wherever you are here in beautiful Mama Gaia, in love and liberation always.